Hello there, and a very warm welcome to another edition of the program. I am Victor Matthias. Now, though the lockdown order is being gradually eased by the federal government, schools nationwide have been asked to remain shut as the struggle to flatten the curve continues. However, in order to not to let the students and pupils remain dormant, the federal and state governments are embracing and adopting e-learning platforms to teach the students from the comfort of their homes. On the program today, we will examine the effectiveness of the online teaching and also look at issues around UNESCO's educational and entrepreneurial program, as well as the effectiveness of measures put in place to curb the further spread of the virus. But let's first see what made the trends in Nigeria's social media space.
After an outcry by Nigerians in the Nigeria Governors Forum, the National Assembly dropped the infectious disease bill, which seeks a 200,000 naira to 5 million naira fine and jail term for offenders against the 500 naira in the previous Quarantine Act. With the search for a cure for the coronavirus in full gear, Madagascar announced it has a local cure called COVID Organics. This stirred the claims of local organic cure, and Nigeria has since received the solution.
Well, there you go. Those were the trends, but also you can be a part of the program from wherever in the world you're watching. You can just tweet at us using the hashtags as well as the social media addresses showing on your screen at Channels TV, at Channels Beam, at Victor_MBIDI, as well as hashtag Channels Beam. Well, we're now being joined by Grace Josiah. She is a social media influencer and the program director for the Begotten Educational Foundation, an educational organization that seeks to promote literacy, empower the girl child, as well as herald sponsorships for children who are out of school and children in rural communities. She joins us via Skype from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, Grace. All right, we also have joining us via the virtual reality interface. We have with us Abdul Salam Ladigbo. He's a humanitarian and a social development mentalist and currently serves as the president UNESCO's Read and Earn Federation and the country director for TAP project. He is right here in our Lagos studio, of course, teleported via the virtual reality interface. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, Abdul Salam.
Thank you for having me, Victor.
Of course. So let's begin. I mean, we are in the times that we are in at the moment, and of course, how is the Read and Tap project going on? Looking at the fact that online is now the new norm, especially as we try to catch up to make sure that those at home catch up with all that we're doing, especially in the educational sector.
Well, actually, TAP project, we actually started doing the online program with TAP project since 2017. So it's not new to us now, but we are really happy that other people are actually joining the trend because actually the education future is actually going to be mobile, not even the four walls of the classroom anymore.
All right, so how has it been so far since the coronavirus broke?
Well, it has been positive because if you know, normally now most programs, especially schools, both university, primary and secondary schools, the fall of all the classroom are not actually going to school, but we are actually online. Nothing is affecting our students, and they are actually enjoying what they have been doing for the past 2 or 3 years right now.
All right, so another
The
benefit,
COVID-19 is not actually having any.
any effect, okay.
What do you say?
Okay, I was going to say that, apart from the online that TAP is doing, there's also the Read and Earn, which perhaps you would need to shed more light on as well.
Okay, it's UNESCO Read and Earn Federation. TAP project is a project. So UNESCO Read and Earn Federation, it's actually a UNESCO specialized institution established with its provision through the Commission in Nigeria to enhance United Nations and UNESCO mission in the country through programs and activities that align with the nation's priority and aspiration. So one of the priorities is youth development, which is a TAP project. TAP project is a recognitive orientation initiative tailored to make Nigerian youth an alternative resources to the nation's economic growth rather than crude oil, and also making them a relevant global resources for the nation, relevant global workforce by developing their local talent for global success. We're working closely with United Kingdom on that and Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, and this program is being sponsored by Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDG. The office actually, we started working for the past 3 years because we have the meeting 2 times in a month, and we have discovered that, okay, in the future, what's going to happen if you're planning towards 2030, Agenda 2030, what are the things is likely we're going to encounter? So we started doing this online program for the youth since 3 years ago now, and then we're enjoying it that everybody is now seeing into the real reality of about what education is all about.
All right, very well. Let's also get back again to our Skype, where we have Grace Josiah joining us again from Abuja. Grace, again, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you very much, Victor.
You're welcome. So let's begin with the effectiveness of the online teaching platform that is being embraced at the moment. How effective do you think it is?
Okay, sincerely speaking, if I'm going to grade it over 10, I'll say fairly 4. And the reason why I'll say 4% is because presently we have about 10.5 children out of school. That's the last UNICEF report. About 10.5 children are out of school. And then if you look at the number of people who are out of
You mean
school, and then you
10.5
also
million? You mean 10.5 million?
Yeah, 10.5 million children are out of school between the ages of 5 to 14.
Okay.
And out of those numbers, the figures that are in school, we also have schools who have no e-learning library. We have government schools who don't have facilities for the technology that we need to do the e-learning that is being implemented. So what happens to those students?
All right. So what would you be proposing for it to be better than 4% that you said it is at the moment?
Okay, so my recommendation will be that starting from the universal basic education, because universal basic education has to do with the junior secondary, that's from JS1 to JS3. They can start through WhatsApp classes, Zoom classes, because WhatsApp is like the application everybody uses. So if you have assignment sent through WhatsApp format to the student.
But don't we? Sorry to butt in, Grace. Don't we already have that going on? The WhatsApp. Some teachers are actually liaising with the students via WhatsApp. Some are having Zoom classes and radio as well as television.
We have that going on in private schools, not in the government school presently.
Okay, so are you saying that the recommendations you're making is for government schools?
Yeah, the recommendation I'm making is for government schools because a lot of government schools don't have the facilities the private school actually have presently. So it's easier for them to implement the e-learning in private schools, not in the government schools. And we have more students in the government schools, which means that more students won't learn during this period. So the recommendation I'm making is actually for students in government secondary schools, especially for those in rural communities. The easiest way for them to get school going on during this period is sending schoolwork, school curriculum, topics to be read, and assignments through WhatsApp platforms. And most importantly, even through Facebook, because almost every student have a Facebook page.
All right, I'll come back to you again, but let me go back to our Abuja studio where we have with us Abdul Salam still hanging on. Abdul Salam, one of the One of the programs that the UNESCO is also running is the human resource. So apart from the learning paths, so I'm just trying to take this conversation a notch higher now, looking at graduates. Where do graduates stand in all of this programs?
Okay, the TAP project, we have 19 categories, and then the category of the graduate is actually category 2.2, which we actually, category 2.2, and we are actually using the NYSC members to reach out to them. The category 2.2 is actually, it's above the people that we call unskilled youth. We have the skilled youth, and then we have the graduate, because when we talk about the university student, the graduates, you need to look at what exactly will they like to be doing. You know, we need to understand, because they are divided into different groups. The one that would love to go into skills, when we talk about skill, we're actually looking at skills that will actually benefit the nation's economic growth, and the skills that will actually make them, you know, a relevant global for work for. What I'm trying to say in this essence is that, you see, after BSc, most of Nigerian youth want to travel out of the country, you know, to acquire more knowledge whether in Western country. But we later realize that migration is right, but we need to do it right. So that's why we said the collaboration, the partnership we are doing with the Association of Business Executives in the UK is to actually give them an international, as an external validation that will be like an add-on to whatever they are doing. The purpose of this is to actually, you know, curb forced labor and modern day slavery, because some of them, when they are
So you're trying to curb illegal migration.
Hello, what do you say?
You're trying to curb illegal migration in the process as well.
Hello?
You're trying to curb illegal
Yes, we have to
migration
curb
as well as brain drain
irregular
as
migration.
well. Okay.
They are going to curb forced labor and modern day slavery. So when you're traveling out of the country, you are going with dignity and pride, because you can agree with me that some of us university certificates in Nigeria are not well, you know, giving more recognition in some parts of the world. So to make this, you know, because of this, some of the youth or some of them like, okay, fine, let me pick up any job for myself so that I can survive. But with this program and what we are trying to do, most especially the graduate category 2.2, it gives them an add-on certificate, add-on to whatever certificate they are holding, and also to give them an opportunity to become a member of 2 world-class professional bodies, and this will give them an opportunity to network across the world. Because, you know, the reason why we're trying to do that is because, you know, IMF says something that by 2050, that Nigeria may be the 9th largest economy in the world. With one condition, we must try to enhance that our population is a population of entrepreneurs and consumers. So how do we do that? We can't just sit back and say, okay, when is that time Nigeria will be there? So this is the right time for us to start doing it, and we're happy that
let me hold you there. Let me butt in there for a bit, Mr. Abdul Salam. Let me quickly bring back Grace into the conversation. Grace, so just as we wrap this, as we wind down now, I mean, pretty much these are steps. There are steps that you need to take before you get to a particular level. So we're looking at, you know, primary and secondary schools, and, you know, you talked about the 10.5 million children out of school, but, you know, in terms of regions now, because you talked about private schools mostly being the ones that are engaging in all of this. So if you look at regionally, what's the percentages of private schools, so to speak, now in the country, and how placed are they?
I would say, like, regionally, private schools are actually highly placed, because in every city, I'll take Abuja for example, in every area council, you have nothing less than 5-6 private schools. But then, talking about the fees, not everyone can actually afford the fees. So there's one thing for private schools to be actually available and almost all over the place. There's another thing for parents to be able to afford the fees that this school actually costs.
All right, Grace, I'd have to say thank you for joining us today on the program and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Abdul Salam as well, I'd like to say thank you to you as well for joining us today on the program and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I will take a break, and we'll be back in a moment with a different perspective. Please stay with us.